So we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. In case you don't know, I am a mute, but I speak when it's super important. And right now, um, it's very important. So, if you're not aware, my name is Christopher, motherfucking McCoy, also Superman. I am a trans man who is also a drag king. Ta-da! Or trans king, however you want to name it. And in the past 3 weeks, I have sat at the Capitol of Texas, sat in the Senate chambers, and I have watched hours on hours on hours of senators debating, myself and other queens and kings and in-betweens and people coming to testify. It's been a lot. It's been overwhelming. It's been very precocious, and it's been very off-putting, the people that we have representing the state of Texas. Um, I was born in Texas, to be exact, Fort Hood, Texas, uh, and I have lived all over the United States, traveled all over it, um, and I always come home. Texas is home. Austin's actually my home, and I always come back. It's just, it's Texas. I don't know how to explain it. But as of late, as of recently, there's been a lot going on, and they've been very hush hush. And the Senate has brought up over 140 bills to not only attack the LGBTQIA plus community, but to actually extinct and eradicate trans folks, drag kings and queens, and the gay community, especially gay men. It's very disheartening to know that there are people we have in place writing bills who've never, not once, stepped foot into a drag show or have ever shooken hands with a trans person, but yet they're writing bills against people like myself and others that I know in the community. It makes you question what's really going on. So, here's what's really going on. Get your tea ready, as people like to say. Me, I got my big ass juice, because it's going to be a long little session. Yes, it is. So, get ready, and let's talk some shit about what is going on in Texas. Now, just so everybody's aware, my wire did just break, literally like a minute before starting. So what that means as well is that when I get it fixed in the morning, there will be no more talking. So let's talk. I'm a grown adult, and majority of the drag queens and kings and trans kings and queens and in-betweens that I know are adults. There are quite a few children performers, but that's not what we're talking about. Because guess what? That wasn't even brought up for debate. What was brought up for debate today? Let's start with SB 14. That is to not allow transgendered youth or anyone else in that category. It's basically taking away our right to get our help that we need, whether it be hormones, whether it be counseling, therapy, just to talk to somebody, maybe have an understanding of what we're going through, navigate the process of how to transition, and things of that nature. And there really how they're angling these bills is it's for the children. That's legitimately how they have angled every single bill, is they are trying to use children as a reason to hate actual human beings. And I'm going to put this as a blanket fucking statement. If you have a child, you are the parent. That's it. That's it. You're the parent, not the state of Texas, not the senators, not the White House, not the Supreme Court. You made the baby, so you get to have the decision of what your kid watches and doesn't watch. Point blank. If you don't want your kid to go to a drag show, don't take your child to a drag show. Simple. It's not hard. If you don't want your kid to play basketball, you don't let them play basketball. It's the same concept. But now we're at a pivotal moment in history where you have people who don't have children who are trans trying to tell them how to parent their children. I'm just going to put it out there. As a man of 36 years old, I wish my parents would have been open and more willing to accept me instead of shunning me and trying to turn me into somebody I wasn't. I was forced to have to wear dresses and polka dots and tight clothes and act like a girl and do all this bullshit. That actually caused so much more trauma and issues later on down the road for me. Instead of validating me and standing behind me and saying, you know what, you're my kid, you're going through something that I have no understanding about, but I want to support you and get you the help you need. They did just like these senators are doing. Most people don't know that. Now you do. So I come from a super, super conservative family. And I'm very open about it now because my life and everything has taken the way it has. So I say all that I'm going to say with the understanding that I have actually had to live through trauma and suffering from people who had no idea what I was going through. So for SB 14, they also were trying to add an amendment, right? To help protect the kids that are on their way of being their true, authentic self and happy and not wanting to die. Let me just put this out there. In case you aren't aware, let me get you real fucking close. I myself have tried to commit suicide as a teenager because of this, of not getting the proper help, of people trying to make me somebody I wasn't. I have had to own that, and I've had to deal with that. And I know there's a lot of other trans folks out there that didn't make it. So I'm saying this that you really understand and feel where I'm coming from. Because most people will just shut it off and be like, oh, he's talking about this, he's talking about that. Yeah, I have to. My life is in jeopardy. If you really are a supporter, a fan, a friend, somebody who says that they fucking love me, then you're going to hear what I have to say. If not, you'll just chunk the deuce. And that's cool. It lets me know where you stand. So SB 14 is a bill that would hinder children from being their true authentic self. And let's just put this out there. The amendment that they were trying to add was to allow the children who already have been in transition for years, meaning they go by their correct pronouns and name and gender markers and all of this. That amendment was to grandfather them in so they would not be affected. And that actually was turned down by yours truly, the senators. So, help me understand how they're trying to help children if taking away what children have already established. That doesn't help them. That actually hinders them. So that's SB 14 kind of in a nutshell. Taking away their health care, which then also would take away my health care. Follow me? I take a shot every week. If I don't take my shot every week, there can be significant consequences, like up to death. So it has to be a conversation that's uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to be able to have this uncomfortable conversation and listen, so that way you understand where we're headed. Okay? For all the people out there who have, in their adult life, started taking hormones and done surgeries and have done irreversible things to take away something that could kill me is really what this is all about, right? They're trying to make me extinct. And I've already had people try and do that, right? Multiple times. So now we're going to merge into SB 12. Because SB 14 then merges into SB 12, which then merges into SB 1601. And y'all are going to be like, well, how does these two merge? All right, let me just get you there. Because SB 12 is supposed to be about drag queens specifically and performing in front of children. First of all, if your kid is at a drag show, that means you took them there, which means that you assume all liability of what your child is going to see because you're their parent or their guardian. I'm just saying. So let's dive into it. And y'all are like, you're taking a moment. I am. I'm taking a moment because this one has the biggest impact on me. Drag is my passion. It's also an income for me. And on top of that, the bill isn't just for drag. It also has a tiny clause in there for trans people in general. So let's break it down, right? And this passed today. So SB 12 has in it that if a performer was to perform in a public space, and that could be a bar, that could be at a park, in a library, in your car, walking down the street, taking a shit, in a public restroom. It doesn't matter. Anywhere public that a child could potentially be present. They don't have to be present. But if a child was to exist in that area and space, and you are to perform, entertain, a drag show, and let's just put this out there. Not every drag show has nudity. Not every drag show has burlesque in it. The majority of drag shows, people are covered. So I'm reiterating so you're aware. And if you've never been to a drag show, it's not just men who are dressing as women. There's also like women dressing as women. There are trans men dressing as women. There are trans women dressing as women. There are cis women dressing as women to perform. There are even cis men who dress up to perform. It's it's across the board. It's not just a gender thing. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. Maybe not you, but somebody you know does it, and they're probably too afraid to tell you because of how you would react to it. But that's besides the point. So SB 12 is the breakdown because there's a lot of legalities behind it that most people don't understand because the verbiage is too vague. It's so vague that they added an amendment to then say, well, anybody who dresses in the opposing gender's attire and performing a they always tend they what's that word? It starts with a P. It's per what is that? Hold on. I gotta look up the word. Hold on, because it's here. Let me. You know what? Let's start it. This bill was written by Senator Hughes, who I just want to point out is arrogant, inconsiderate, and does not pay attention if it does not benefit him. Meaning that if you go to speak in front of him and he is not in favor of what you're speaking of, he will get on his phone, talk to his colleagues, actually get up and leave, walk around. So I just want to point out, as a taxpayer, you are not doing your job. You are paid to sit and listen to a taxpayer like me tell you why you shouldn't pass something like this. And for all of the members of Senate who have done this, you have disgraced not only senators before you, but you have disgraced the title of your job. You have disgraced the United States of America. And on top of that, you've disgraced yourself because it really shows how incompetent you are and not willing to actually listen to the people who actually this impacts. So, Senator Hughes, you are on my shit list. Just so you know. Still love you, but I can love you from a motherfucking distance. So, let's talk about it. I actually pulled it up. I'm just going to read it. That way there is no confusion, and then we'll break it down. How about that? Senate Bill number 12, a bill to be entitled an act relating to restricting certain sexual-oriented performances on public property on the premises of a commercial enterprise, or, hear these words, or in the presence of a child, authorizing a civil penalty creating a criminal offense. So let's break that down, shall we? If a sexually oriented performance on public property, commercial enterprise, or in the presence of a child. So, public property, commercial enterprise, that's your bars, public spaces, parks, libraries, things like that, the sidewalk in front of the Capitol, bars, hotels, restaurants, you name it, and then wherever a child is present, which is a civil penalty of $10,000. Yes. And then it also, the person who is doing the art then becomes a criminal, meaning they are actually charged. So let's go into that. Be it enacted by the legislation of the state of Texas, Section 1, Subtitle A, Title 9, Health and Safety Code is amended. This is what we were talking about, the amendment, where it says everybody now. Is amended by adding Chapter 769 to read as follows. Chapter 769. Sexually oriented performances, section 769.001. Definitions in this chapter. 1. Premises has the meaning assigned by section 4603 in the Penal Code. Let's pull that up real quick, shall we? Y'all ready for this shit? Section 46.03 of the Penal Code. This is so fucking stupid. Places weapons are prohibited. A person commits an offense if the person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly possesses or goes with a firearm, location restricted knife, club, or prohibited weapons listed in section 4605. So it tells us to go to this section of the Penal Code, yeah? Which I just did. And guess what? It's talking about guns. That's got nothing to do with drag. So let's go back to this stupid page. So there you go. Already, section 1 has nothing. They don't even. Oh my god, so fucking stupid. Number 2, sexual oriented performances has the meaning assigned by section 43.28 of the Penal Code. Let's go to 43.28 of the Penal Code. Shall we? We shall. Where's it at? Of course, they don't let me pull that one up. Y'all suck. Okay, so let me pull up that one because that's what really actually matters. Let's go to the next section. It says section 769.002. Certain sexually oriented performances prohibited on the premises of commercial enterprise. Civil penalty injunction. Subsection A. A person who controls the premise of a commercial enterprise may not allow a sexually oriented performance to be presented on the premises in the presence of an individual younger than 18 years of age. Timeout. Isn't the state of Texas, the legal age is 17? It's a gray area. So those two already, they're clashing because there are 17 years olds who are actual adults in the state of Texas. So that's already help me understand that. Section B. A person who violates this section is liable, this is the best part, is liable to the state for a civil penalty of not more than $10,000 for each violation. So let's say there's a show going on at Cheer Up Charlie's, and there's 12 performers. And of the 12 performers, let's say the police come and they feel that you are doing sexually oriented performance. If you twerk, we're going to get to that, but that's an actual sexually oriented performance. Just going to point that out because that was in the Senate hearing. So let's say all 12 of your performers shake their butt, which I'm going to be real with you. I love shaking my ass. So we all shake our ass. That entity is then penalized 10 grand for each one of us. But on top of that, then we're going to jail. So let's get into that, shall we? Section C. And this is where shit gets real fucking confusing. And this is where people get lost in it. Section C. The Attorney General may bring an action to. Page 2. Now, here's where this shit gets crazy. It goes into subdivisions of subsections of subsections. So we're just going to go through it. Number 1, recover the civil penalty imposed under this section. Or 2, obtain a temporary or permanent injunction to restrain the violation. Do you know what that means? Let's break that down, shall we? Basically, they can permanently fine your ass is what they're telling you. All right. D. An action under this section may be brought in a district court in Travis County. 1, or number 2. God, this is cutting me real bad. Hold on, y'all. Oh my God. We're going to try this. Hold on. Travis County, or a county in which any part of the violation occurs. The Attorney General shall deposit a civil penalty collection under this section in the state treasury to credit of the General Revenue Fund. Which, wow, okay. F. The Attorney General may recover reasonable expenses incurred in bringing an action under this section, including, so the 10 grand ain't it, including court costs, attorney's fees, investigation costs. So basically, they're going to be sending people into bars to see what's happening to get people. That's literally investigation costs. So what, you're going to do some recon, some 5-0 undercover shit at the bar? Y'all are, wow. Don't you have better things to like actually protect kids from guns? I'm just saying. Anyway, investigation costs, witness fees, of course, because you're gonna go get those fucking people who don't even live in the state of Texas again to be like, I was a witness, and deposition expenses. So basically, what they're saying is, we're gonna charge you 10 grand, and then everything that we can bill you for, we're gonna bill you for it. Cool. Section 2, Chapter 243, Local Government Code, is amended by adding Section 243.0031 to read as follows. Section 243.0031. Authority to regulate certain sexually oriented performances. Subsection A. In this section, sexually oriented performances has the meaning. Lost it. There you go. Has the meaning. Come on. Computer, don't do this to me now. There you go. Sexually oriented performances has the meaning assigned by Section 43.28 Penal Code, but they won't let me pull that up. So I'm going to actually try and pull it up on 43.28 Penal Code. Establishes a 42.3 in addition to civil penalty criminalizing a sexual performance on property in the presence of a minor. I would like to know what that means. There we go. Okay, 43.28. I'm getting that right now. I got the page. This is exciting. We are all getting lessons today. 43.25. Goddamn this wire. Side note, my neighbor gave me a new fridge. Thanks, neighbor. I'm gonna hook him up. So I am looking on statuscapital.texas.gov documents for 43.28. And so I wish I could show you on my screen. So it goes to 43.27, duty to report, and that is it. There is no section 43.28. Oh my God, y'all. I just realized they were writing that. It doesn't exist yet. So basically what he did is he wrote 43.28 as a law and put it into SB 12. Oh my God. Why did none of us catch this? Okay. That's even okay. Let's go back to the other point. Shit is getting crazier as I go through this, and it's just fucking hurting my brain. So 43.28, if I Google it, it gives me some basic ass answer. But if I go into the actual chapter 43 of the Penal Code, there's nothing there. It talks about public decent exposure and stuff like that, but there's nothing there. So if anybody else wants to look this up and try and find what I'm looking for, I would appreciate it because I can't find it. So let's go back to the doc real quick. So we're gonna skip that for just a second, right? We're going to go into subsection B, subject to subsection C. So, uh, so subsection B works with subsection C, which subsection C reads as a municipality or county may regulate sexually oriented performances as the municipality or county considers necessary to promote the public health, safety, or welfare. Subsection CC, a municipality or county may not authorize a sexually oriented performance. Let me break that down into layman's terms. Let's say I'm a hypothetically, I'm some super, I can't even say that. Nope, I won't even use that hypothetical. Okay. So let's say you're performing and this is the example I'll use. I'm performing. I'm a burlesque dancer, but I also do drag. So sometimes my clothes come off, sometimes they don't. I do them both. It's kind of like a is and both thing. But let's say I'm in my Sonic suit, right? Fully zipped up with the Sonic head on. And I'm doing the Sonic song. And I'm twisting and shaking. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right? Da-da-da-da-da. I'm doing my thing. Do. Somebody can say, oh, I consider that a sexually oriented performance. Here's another example. You go to the club. You start twerking and you're in drag, but you're at the club and you're not performing. Somebody could actually say, oh, well, they were performing. Lie. Take a video of you twerking, because everybody's got a goddamn phone. So when people say they don't get messages and shit, I'm like, you're so full of shit. Like, me, my phone's been dead and on a charger because it won't keep a charge. And I've been gone for like a week and a half. So if I haven't responded, there's real reason. But like, when people are like, oh, this and that, I'm like, bullshit. I see so many people pull out their phones to record shit all the time. So let's say you're at the club. You're just like, right? I could literally go to prison right now for that if this wasn't like if it super passes. But like you're like I'm a twerk, and let's say you're you're Miley Cyrus. I'm using Miley as an example. You're Miley Cyrus because they used it in the Senate today. She recently did this. They recently did this. You're Miley Cyrus. You dress up in a full suit. Boom. Fresh. Hot. Boom, boom. You're on stage. Da-da-da. And then you start pop, pop, pop. Your ass is going to jail. It's simple. This law things that they're doing is just it's just stupid. So I say that because you could be somewhere and somebody not like you and just call you in. Think about that. Think about that for just a second. Just for a minute. I want you to think about that. Because there are some vindictive motherfuckers out there who don't like people just because. And that's where we're at, is that those people are starting to show their true colors. And this SB 12 is going to get a lot of people a criminal record just for performing an art. Another prime example. And it just fucking frustrates me. It frustrates me because I'm using the examples that was given it to the Senate in the hearing to stop this from happening. Is pride. Now, don't get me wrong. It's gotten super corporate. We all know that. But it is our one time for us all to come together once a year and walk the fucking street safely and have others come and cheer us on because we're out, we're proud, and we are who we are. Well, guess what? You and your significant other walking down the street. How did he phrase it? You're two men, okay? And you're walking down the street holding hands, in dresses, in pride, and you decide to make out with tongue. Legit, a senator said this, y'all. I'm not making this shit up. You can go rewatch it. Can somebody say that you are providing a sexually oriented performance? And the answer was yes. And the way we knew the answer was yes is because Hughes literally said, I refuse to answer that question. And then it got heated and they took a break. So I'm pointing out the things that people aren't really understanding and getting of like, this is where we're at. You have grown men, one who says he's never been to a drag show or shook a trans person's hand or interacted with them, which is Hughes, who's writing laws and things in place that he knows nothing about. And then you have another senator who's going to bat for us and literally asking questions. And the one senator is like, I refuse to answer that. Because why? Because you just showed your true motherfucking colors. You just showed that you are out for the LGBTQIA community. Plus, sorry. Like, that was it. That is, like, when I heard that, when I'm watching the facial expressions and I'm seeing this, it's so unreal that I can't believe this literally happened today. So let's dive deeper, shall we? Now that we're like, I'm diving into it, my brain's all over the place, but we're already in the shit, so we're going to keep going in the shit, okay? Now that we know that there is no fucking 43.28 in the penal code, so I would love to know what the verbiage is on that penal code since it doesn't exist yet. Which now makes sense as to why Senator Hughes refused to actually explain what 43.28 meant every time a senator asked, well, what does this mean? Because it's too vague. Boom. Nail on the coffin right there. So we're going to keep going. There's so many subsections of sections of subsections, which it makes sense why nobody wants the time to like dive into this shit. So we are in section 2, chapter 243, local government code, subsection B. Subject, no, wait, Jesus Christ, where are we at? Yeah, we read that one. Because subject B goes to subject C. Oh, sorry, we're on C. A municipality or county cannot authorize sexual-oriented performances. Inclusive of that, there's a sub-article 1. It says on public property or page 3, number 2, in the presence of an individual younger than 18 years of age. Jesus Christ. Again, that 18, Texas has the gray area of 17. So how does that work for those individuals who are actually a legal adult? Someone help me there. Because if you're 17 in the state of Texas, you are tried as an adult, not as a minor. That's why I keep bringing that up. Subsection D to all of this. Except as provided by subsection C, this section does not limit the authority of a municipality to license, tax, suppress, prevent, or otherwise regulate theatrical or exhibitions, shows, or amusements under section 215.032. So let's break that down. Exhibitions, shows, and amusements. If I'm not mistaken, drag is a show. It's an exhibition and it's amusement. It's theatrical. So let's go down and let's let me tell you what section 215.032 means. Exhibition, shows, and amusement. Subsection A. The governing body of the municipality may license, tax, suppress, prevent, or otherwise regulate keepers of theatrical or other exhibitions, shows, or amusements. Subsection Article B. The governed body may license, tax, or otherwise regulate. Article 1. Theaters. Article 2. Circuses. Article 3. Exhibitions of common showmen. Exhibitions of common showmen. What is that? Y'all, I'm going down all these fucking rabbit holes today. What does this mean? Hold on. Oh my god. This is horrible. Y'all, oh my gosh. I'm reading it. Exhibitions of common showmen is this can't I can't I'm literally reading this off of wow. Y'all are gonna be like, what? So my references are, and I know Wikipedia is not a good one. So I went to OCLC, as well as the University of Sheffield, which is in the United Kingdom. Just so everybody's aware, it's a highly prestigious university. The exhibition of common showmen refers to the exhibition of freaks, monstrosities, or marvels of nature were essential components of traveling exhibitions in Europe and Americas. I am so offended by by this verbiage. It's very sad how humans degrade other humans just because they do not look like each other. The verbiage on this is just, it's very, it makes others who are different seem like they're a horrible human, and they're not. Like for the people who are born conjoined, you're not a freak and you're not a monstrosity. For the people who are extremely hairy, like they called him the wolf boy, you are a man, you're human, and you deserve to exist. Now that we know what that is, and I'm having a really hard time, I can't believe that. Let's go to the next one. 4. Shows of any kind. Shows of any kind. 5. Exhibitions of natural or artificial curiosities. Oh, I'm about to deep dive into this. 6. Caravans. 7. Menageries. Wait a second. Menageries are covered? Hold on. Copy paste. Let's look up the menagerie right now. So they put us with animals. I just wanted to make sure I was reading that right. A menagerie is a collection of wild animals kept in captivity for exhibition. Okay, we're just going to keep going with it. And then musical exhibitions or performances. Mind you, I'm going to point out when this fucking took place. The act was written in 1987 by the 70th, damn liar, by the 70, this is why I don't speak, by the 70th legislation, Chapter 149, Section 1, effective September 1st, 1987. I'm just going to point this out. We are in 2023. I was actually born in that year, 1987. So the fact that this is a 36-year-old written piece of paper and people are still going by it, help me understand. So let's go back for a second. Okay. Let's go back to his bill, SB number 12. So, what that, in case, because there was I know it's a lot, for the confusion, it says that a municipality or county may not authorize a sexually oriented performances, subsection 1, on public property or in the presence of an individual under the age of 18 years and older, except as provided by subsection C. This subsection does not limit the authority of municipality to license, tax, suppress, prevent, or otherwise regulate. And so basically what I'm reading is that under section 215.032, which I just read to y'all, theaters, circuses, exhibitions of showmen and showwomen, shows of any kind, exhibitions of natural artificial curiosities, caravans, menageries, music exhibitions, or performances. So drag is art. It is a show of any kind. So technically, the municipalities could give us a license to allow for drag to continue, if I'm reading that right. The governing bodies of the municipality may license, tax, suppress, prevent, or otherwise regulate keepers of theatrical or exhibition shows or amusements. So it's up to that governing municipality, basically, of what they do. That's how that reads. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next section. Jeez, man, this is so much crap. Section 3, Subchapter B, Chapter 43 of Penal Code is amended by adding, here it is, y'all. I told y'all. I knew this motherfucker was slick. Asshole. That's what he is. He's a closed-minded individual who just needs somebody to love. Okay. Section 3 is amended. Chapter 43, Penal Code, is amended by adding Section 43.28 to read as follows. So not only did his bill, oh my God, I don't think people understand what just happened today. His bill is not just a bill. His bill is a bill plus passing to add another penal code to the penal code system. That's not how this is supposed to work. But he's getting to do it. How, I don't know. But let's keep reading, shall we? Section 3, Subchapter B, Chapter 43, Penal Code, is amended by adding Section 43.28 to read as follows. Section 43.28 reads as follows. Certain sexually oriented performances prohibited. Subsection A. In this section, sexually, because it has quotations, sexually oriented performances means a visual performance that Subdivision 1 features. Subdivision 1 has a subchapter A performer who is nude as defined by section 102.51 in the Business and Commercial Code, or B, a male performer exhibiting as a female, or a female performer exhibiting as a male, who uses clothing, makeup, or other similar physical markers, and who sings, lip syncs, dances, or otherwise performs before an audience. So basically, let me break that down to you. If you are a man and you dress up, or you are exhibiting as a female, or a female exhibiting as a male via clothing, makeup, markers, who sings, lip syncs, dances, or otherwise performs before an audience, that is considered a sexually oriented performance. That has nothing to do with sexually oriented performances at all. When I think of sexually oriented performances, I think of the shows that they have in New York where they're showing you like all the different moves, but people in their leotards, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you know. So let's keep going, okay? So a performer who is nude as defined by section 102.51. So let's go back to 102.51. I got all these different things opened up here. Open in a tab. There you go. Nude means, let's talk about it. 102.51. I'm sorry, 102.051. Definitions in this subchapter. 1. Nude means entirely unclothed, or that or is what's going to fuck us, or clothed in a manner that leaves uncovered or visible through less than fully opaque clothing. Yes, we're going to do it. Any portion of the breasts below the top of the areola of the breasts if the person is female, or any portion of the genitalia or buttocks. So that's for women. Ready? Number 2, sexually oriented businesses means a nightclub, bar, restaurant, or similar commercial enterprise that, subsection A, provides for an audience of 2 or more individuals live nude entertainment or live nude performances. And Article B authorizes on-premises consumption of alcohol beverages regardless of whether the consumption of alcohol beverages is under a license or permit is issued under the Alcoholic Beverage Code. Added by Acts 2007 in the 80th legislation, RS Chapter 1206, HB 1751, Section 3, effective January 1st, 2008. So, let's talk about that. Entirely unclothed. I've never met a drag performer who's been completely naked. I'm thinking really hard too, because this, I've been around a lot of performances, seen a lot. Nope, okay. And then it says, or clothed in a manner that leaves uncovered or visibility through less than fully opaque clothing, any portion of the breast is below the top of the areola of the breast if the person is a female, or any portion of the genitalia or buttocks. So that means I can't wear a thong. But does that mean if it's, because it specifically says if the person is female. That's where it gets confusing. Or any portion of the genitalia or buttocks. Have I ever seen anybody's vagina or penis on stage? I'm thinking real hard right now. The answer to that is no. Nope, I've never seen anybody's penis or vagina on stage. They're no square. Have I seen buttocks? Yes, my buttocks shows. So that's where that's where there's some confusion. Is this just for women or is it for both? So that's what section 102.51 is. Let's go back to the bill. So it says a performer who is nude or as defined by section 102.51, which we just read, Business Commerce Code, or be a male performing as a woman or a woman performing as a male. Okay, and then it says subsection 2 appeals to the, this is where they're getting people, right? We're going to pull up the definition of prurient. If you are watching this, can you put in the comments if you even know what this word means? I'm going to tell you, chances are you don't. It's something that old school attorneys and judges use. Prurient. Having or encouraging an excessive interest in sexual matters. That's the definition. That's the actual Oxford definition. What are prurient interests? We're going to go into that. The court stated that the term lust connotates nothing more than a sexual desire, while the term prurient is more restrictive and means only a shameful or morbid interest in nudity, sex, or excretion. And that, my friends, is from the Department of Justice. And that was written January 1st of 1984. And if you want an example, I'll gladly give you an example. Because guess what? The Department of Justice wants us to have an example. Having or showing too much interest in sex. He took a prurient interest in her personal life. A book that appealed to the prurient curiosity of its readers. These are like the actual, wow. So basically, any type of intent, you can interpret prurient however you want, basically. That's that definition. So let's keep going. So appeals to a prurient interest in sex. Subsection B, a person commits an offense if, that word if again, if regardless of whether compassion for the performance is expected or received, the person engaging in a sexually oriented performance, 1, on public property, or 2, in the presence of an individual younger than 18 years of age. Subsection C. An offense under this section is a Texas really hates us. An offense under this section is a Class A misdemeanor. Section 4. This act takes effect on September 1st, 2023. Four months and 29 days. This will actually take effect. Now, I know I read a lot, and I know that's a lot to consume. And I know I have my own biased opinion. But I am asking you, human to human, person to person, to like just take a minute and just let it soak. Just let it soak in. Okay. While y'all are doing that, I'm gonna pull up the next bill. So Imagine, it's about to get deep. You're just going on a date with your girlfriend, two lesbians, okay? I'm going to use that as an example. You're going out on a date with your girlfriend. She's looking all fine and sexy in her dress and everything, and her heels, right? Looking all gorgeous and beautiful. But you are what some people could, and I don't like these words, but in the world that we live in, we're just going to use it. You're a stud or butch or, God, I hate these words. Or more male presenting, or you just like wearing men's clothes. And you're like, you decked out to the collar. You got your boom, you're popping your collar with your polo. You got your chains on. You got your hair just fresh cut with a fade. You got your design going. You got your Timbs on. You got your press on. You got everything going, right? You are fly. You and your girl about to step out the goddamn house. Go to the club just to have a good old time. You can be arrested just for wearing what you wear. And you're probably like, but how? Well, let me break it down to you. In the Senate meeting, they were talking about how is it classified? And the answer was however it's perceived. So I could be in the club, shaking my ass, boom, 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 with my honey bunny, ew, 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 and somebody could be offended, call the police, and say, hey, based off of Senate Bill 12, subsection, let me go back to it, Section 3, Subchapter B, Chapter 43, which causes the amendment and adding of a penal code 43.28, which is this is how they get it referred to. They'll say, I'm referring to Section 43.28 of Senate Bill 12. This person is a female exhibiting as a male. Now I know in the writing it says a female performer exhibiting as a male who's using clothing, makeup, or other similar physical markers and sings, lip syncs, dances, and or otherwise performs before an audience. And this is where it got confusing and the senators were going at it again. Because one senator asked, straightforward, so if we go to the club and I'm an audience member and I start twerking, can I go to jail? And the senator was like, if the establishment allows you to do that, the establishment will be fined and you will be criminally charged. So it's not just drag performers they're after. They are after everybody in the LGBTQIA community. Plus. Like they're after all of us. So it's no longer just it's just drag performers, so I don't need to worry. Or it's just trans people. I don't know, it's everybody, motherfuckers. They're coming after all of us. And nobody's reading this shit. Except for me, apparently. Like nobody's like really deep diving into this shit. There are a few, but there's not enough of us to make this shit stop. I'm in my 30s. Why do I have somebody who's like, how old is this guy? Hold on, let me find out. 30, he's of Texas age. I already know where the guy lives. Public record sucks. So this guy was born in 1969. Let's get a calculator. So what is he, like 50 something? 2023 minus 1969. He's 54. So I'm 36, and a 54-year-old is trying to parent a 36-year-old on what they can do for a living. But not just that. He's also trying to penalize people for just being themselves and comfortable. That's just Senate Bill 12. Again, there's over 140 bills that these people are trying to push to eradicate their words, not mine. People in the LGBTQIA plus community. So when I say that this bill doesn't just impact drag, it doesn't. It impacts everybody in the community. And if you're bisexual, that's you too, honey. Whether you're a man or a woman, or however you identify. At this point, they're coming after anybody who is not a cis white man that does not fit into their goddamn box. Okay? So that's for that one. Let's go to 12. Or wait, let's go to 1601. Y'all, I'm over here like, it's been a long day. And just so everybody knows, no, I am not medicated right now. I haven't been medicated for a hot minute. So all of this is really hitting me a little differently. It's a lot more of an impact. I am a lot more emotional. Yes, I know I'm scrolling, but this is like, I needed to handle this. I needed to be not medicated to get this information so that I can feel its full impact of what it's going to do for my life. And not just my life, but the friends I have made, the community I've made, the family and friends and everything. Like everything I have built my life around. My whole entire life is at stake right now. That is why it is so important that you actually take the time to hear what I have to say. Like it's not just my life at stake. There are millions of us who are going to have to flee where we live because we're not wanted in states that some of us were even born in. My state does not care about me at all. And it is very, very clear and very loud. It's deafening to know that they literally have passed things that are hateful. And people are okay with this, which then makes me question those people. Like, where is your moral compass? For real. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I know it's a long video, y'all. I didn't say this was going to be short. If I sat in them building, if I sat for as many hours, if I sat there waiting and testifying and then never getting a chance to testify and then laying on the goddamn floor so that they can see like, yo, this is real. Like you're fucking with my life. Like then yeah, it's gonna take some time. All right, let's keep going. Sub, not subsection. So, hold on. Before we go to Senate Bill 1601. So Senate Bill 12 is basically coming after anybody who dresses different, sings, lip syncs, dances, because anybody can consider it a performance, especially in Austin. I could be down at Barton Springs doing my normal thing that I do, and I can go to jail for that. I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. Just to exist is becoming a crime. To exist is a crime. To do to be yourself, to do the thing that you love is a crime. It just doesn't make sense, especially if I'm not hurting anybody. In fact, I bring people joy, laughter, sometimes tears. So I'm not getting that. I'm not. So please take time to read these bills too. If you think I'm bullshit, go read it yourself. Ask a friend to break it down for you too, in case you're not getting it. But Senate Bill number 12 is it's an oppression bill. They're oppressing us even further. They're trying to get rid of us, and we're not going to go anywhere, not quietly. So let's get into the Senate Bill 1601. This one upsets me very much, and y'all will know in just a second. I need a second to stand. My hip is just hurt, and my face hurts. All right, let's turn the light on. It's gonna be a little bright. Still dealing with the popped out hip situation. It's getting a lot better, but it's still super tender. Alrighty, y'all. Oh, before I roll away from y'all, here we go. 1601. Hold that thought. Everything is just hurting, y'all. I'm straining a little bit, so try not to. Okay. Try not to blind y'all as well. All right, 1601. Again, written by Senator Hughes. I really feel like this guy either A, was in love with a drag queen who broke his heart, or he wanted to be a drag queen and maybe somebody hurt his feelings. I don't know, but he's really got he's closeted gay man. And if you are Senator Hughes, we want you to know that we still love you. We despise you, but we still love you. And if you are a gay man who's very closeted and scared to come out, you would be welcomed with open arms, even after all the hateful things you've done. You would still be welcomed with open arms, and there would be somebody in the community that would love you, even after all you've done. So I just want to point that out. If there is like a specific hate that you have for people, we're very loving and we're very kind. Of course, just like with every subsection of humans, there's gonna be good people and bad people, just like with senators, there's good ones and bad ones. So that's where we're at. All right. So let's go ahead and read 1601. A bill to be entitled an act, because it passed, relating to prohibiting municipal libraries that host certain events from receiving state funding. You heard it here first. Be it enacted by the legislation of the state of Texas. Section 1, Chapter 315, Local Government Code, is amended by adding Section 315.0051 to read as follows. There's a lot of verbiage coming. Section 315.0051, prohibited events at municipal libraries. A municipal library may not receive state funds if the library hosts an event at which a man presenting as a woman or a woman presenting as a man reads a book or a story to a minor for entertainment, and the person being dressed as the opposing gender is a primary component of the entertainment. Let me break that down. Librarian doesn't even have to be a drag entertainer. Librarian wants to read Peter Pan to the kids. I'm using this as an example. Don't come after me, people. Librarian wants to use Peter Pan, wants to read Peter Pan to the kids and dress up as Hook. Librarian's a female that dresses up as Hook. That library will lose its funding. Just because she wants to dress up as Hook and read Peter Pan to the kids. Not being sexually explicit, not, doing anything negative to the kids. I'm just going to read you Peter Pan dressed up as Hook, and I'm going to act like Hook, Or, let's say there's a parent who organizes, because parents do this. They do it downtown in Austin at the Central Library. I love the Central Library. It's the biggest one in Austin, and I go there all the fucking time. But the Central Library allows parents to host kids meetups where a parent will dress up and read to the kids and stuff. So let's say a dad comes in and let's say a dad has triplets and they're all girls. And they're girls. They are not questioning who they are. They're super frilly. They love princesses, and Frozen's their favorite fucking movie. And they just saw the Frozen book, and they want dad to dress up as Elsa and read the story to everybody. Dad wants to make his kids happy. He says, I love my daughters, so if they want this, I'm going to dress up just so they can be happy and read the story to them and their friends. Dad goes to said library dressed up as Elsa. Dad goes to jail. Library loses its funding. Somebody help me understand this. It's no longer even it's literally just coming at people for presenting as a different gender, which clothing is not gender specific. I just want to point out, men can wear skirts and dresses and kilts. They've been doing it since the beginning of time. Women can wear pants and suits and shit like that. We have not had women doing that since the beginning of time, unless it was prior to the colonization of the world by the white man. Just want to make that. So, let's continue. Now that we know what this is really aimed after, it's really aimed after making people dress how they want you to present. So, I just want you to really listen to what I'm saying. Hear me when I tell you. If you go into the men's section and buy men's shoes and put them on and put on men's pants and a polo shirt and walk out and go into a library and read to kids, you could technically lose that library's funding and get fined and go to prison. That's where we're at in this bill so far. So, persons being dressed as the opposite gender is a primary component of entertainment, blah, blah, blah. State funding So the state funds for that municipal library shall be denied for all the fiscal year following the year in which the library hosts an event described by this section. So let's say September 1 comes and the bill passes, and September 2, let's just say the Corpus Christi Library hosts a holidays are in September. I don't even know. Let's go to October. Let's say in October, because everybody dresses up in October for Halloween. So let's say it's Halloween and it's story time. However, the person reading the book is dressed up, but they're just dressed up for Halloween. But they're dressed up in a different gender's attire, could lose that library's funding. Not just for that time, but for the following year. So technically they're being penalized for 2 years. of losing funding, which would obviously shut down the library, which would then stop people from being able to read and getting knowledge of what's going on in the world and what's actually happened and all of the things that they've been trying to do already. So let's dive deeper, because this bill is a short bill. It's only a one-page bill. And that's what really is frustrating. It's legit. It's not even a full page. It's a half a page. And it got passed. So Section 2 says the change in law made by this act applies only to an event that occurs on or after the effective date of this act. Section 3, this act takes effect September 1, 2023. So that's the bill. That's it. I'm gonna reread it one more time so you can understand. I'm not gonna stop this time. I'm gonna read the whole bill through and through so you can understand. Like, this is the bill. A bill to be enacted and act relating to prohibiting municipal libraries that host certain events receiving state funding. Be it enacted by the legislation of the state of Texas. Section 1, Chapter 315, Local Government Code is amended by adding Section 315.0051 to read as follows. Section 315.00, fuck you, mosquito. 315.0051, prohibit events at municipal libraries. A municipal library may not receive state funding if the library hosts an event at which a man presenting as a woman or a woman presenting as a man reads a book or a story to a minor for entertainment, and the person being dressed as the opposite gender is a primary component of the entertainment. State funds for that municipal library shall be denied for the fiscal year following that year in which the library hosts an event described by this section. Section 2, the change in law made by this act applies only to the act and the event that occurs on or after the effective date of this act. Section 3, this act takes effect September 1, 2023. That's it. That's that bill. It's kind of super self-explanatory, but I'll break it down to you even further if you're not understanding. If I was just to walk into the library right now and read a book to a group of kids, I would be breaking Senate Bill 12 and Senate Bill 1601. Full scope. Why is that? Because the bill goes by original birth. There is no clause for trans folks at all. There's no wiggle room. They're clearly wanting to keep people as man and woman. Like, if you're born, you can't be different type situation. But unfortunately, there's a lot of us. So I personally love the library. Not enough people go to the library. More people are worried about social media, and like, honestly, I could give two shits less about the CMT Awards. I don't even fucking care that they were in Austin. And I see more people posting about the CMT Awards than I do about what's actually going on. I could give two shits less if somebody got a Grammy or an Oscar. I care about, am I going to be able to live here tomorrow? Or is somebody going to legally be able to come and kill me? Those are the things that run through my head. Can I ride my bike down the street without having to worry about being harassed? Can I go to the gym without having to second guess everything? Am I going to have to soon be so excommunicated from society just to be able to live? No, that's not okay. It's not. And that's where all of this is going. All of it. Because all of these tie in together. All of them. And people aren't realizing that we are in detrimental like times. It's no longer a question of, is this gonna hurt me? Is it not gonna hurt me? It's not even that anymore. It's basic human rights to exist on the planet and just be yourself. Like, for real. And I wanted to, real quick, since I read SB 12 and 1601, I did want to read SB 14 for y'all. Just so you knew what it was. Why is this not ready? Hold on, y'all. It took me to like the roll call and the comments. Why is it not giving me the bill? I want the fucking bill. How did I get here? Here we go. Took a minute, but I got it. Which I also want to just let everybody know that for you to have a hysterectomy, a double mastectomy, vaginectomy, phalloplasty, metaplasty, castration, vasectomy, oophorectomy, those aren't easy to get. You have to go through a lot to get things like this done to your body. On top of that, 99% of the time, insurance is your battle because they're like, well, why? So let's just make that a real thing. Like, insurance doesn't make it easy. Doctors don't make it easy. Psychiatrists, therapists, none of it is easy. It's not easy to transition to be yourself at all. Just I needed to say that because I feel like people think, oh well, I saw what's her name, the Jenner lady. Oh God, what is her name? Caitlyn Jenner. We can't use her as an example for the trans community. Here's why, y'all. Number one, Caitlyn Jenner has millions of dollars. Therefore, they can pay for their surgery. Just like that. Notice how one day they were the other person, and then the next day they woke up and were on a magazine of, oh, look at me, and they had everything done. Do you know how much money that took? Their insurance didn't cover that. They paid out of pocket. Majority of us, 99% of us, don't have a disposable income to just drop $150,000 to change our entire body. Some people will take out credit cards and things like that and do it. More power to you, baby. I'm not. If I don't have cash or my insurance isn't covering it, I'm kind of just at a, that's where I'm at. Because the system was made that way. So let's go into this. Let's go into the bill. Now, this bill was written by Campbell, Senator Campbell. Senator Bill number 14, a bill to be entitled an act relating to prohibitions on the provisions to certain children of procedures and treatments for gender transitioning, gender reassignment, or gender dysphoria, and on the use of public money or public assistance to provide those procedures and treatments. Be it enacted by the legislation of the state of Texas, Section 62.151 Health and Safety Code is amended by adding subsection G to read as follows. G. The Child Health Care Plan may not provide coverage for services prohibited by Section 161.702 that are intended to transition a child's biological sex as determined by the child's sex organs, chromosomes, and indigenous profiles. Section 2, Chapter 161, Health and Safety Code is amended by adding Subchapter X to read as follows. I need to sit. Subchapter X, Gender Transitioning and Gender Reassignment Procedures and Treatments for Certain Children. Section 161.701, Definitions in the subchapter. 1. Child means an individual who is younger than the age of 18 years of age. Again, Texas is a gray state. 17 means we're an adult. So this 18 has no relevance. Number 2, healthcare provider. Means a person other than a physician who is licensed, certified, or otherwise authorized by the state's laws to provide or render health care or to dispense or prescribe a prescription drug in the ordinary course of business or practice of a profession. Number 3, Medicaid. Means the medical assistance program established under Chapter 32 of Human Resource Code, which I have Medicaid. Let's just make that out. Number 4, physician means a person licensed to practice medical in the state. Section 161.702. God, this fucking wire, y'all. For real. Like, this is it. Y'all got to hear my voice for like a few weeks and that's it. Like, that's it. Because this, nope, I don't want any more wires snapping in my fucking face. If y'all can't tell, I'm like frustrated. Okay. Section 161.702 prohibits provisions of gender transitioning or gender reassignment procedures or treatments to certain children for the purpose of transitioning as a child. Biological sex is determined by the sex organ chromosome and or indigenous profiles of the child or affirming the child's perception of the child's sex. If that perception is inconsistent with the child's biological sex, a physician or healthcare provider may not knowingly perform a surgery that sterilizes the child, including castration, vasectomy, hysterectomy, oophorectomy, medoplasty, orectomy, appendectomy, phalloplasty, vaginoplasty, performing a mastectomy, provide, prescribe, administer, or dispense any of the following prescription drugs that induce, transcend, or permit infertility. A puberty suppression or blocking prescription drugs to stop or delay normal puberty. B. Sulfurol. Sur, Serological doses of testosterone to females, or serological doses of estrogen to males, or remove any other healthy or non-diseased body part or tissue. Section 161.703. Exceptions. Section 161.702 does not apply to the provisions by the physician or healthcare provider with the consent of the child's parent or legal guardian of puberty suppression or blocking prescriptions, drugs for the purpose of normalizing puberty for a minor experiencing precocious puberty, or appropriate in medically necessary procedures or treatments to a child who, subsection A, is born with a medically verifiable genetic disorder or a sex development including subsection I, 46XX chromosomes with variation, II, 46XY chromosomes with underutilization, or III, both ovarian and testicular tissue, or so intersex, or B, does not have the normal sex chromosome structure for male or female as determined by physician through genetic testing. So now they want to genetically test you. That's great. So they can get more data to do whatever they want. Section 161.704. Prohibited use of public money. Public monies may not direct or indirectly be used, granted, paid, or distributed to any healthcare provider, medical school, hospital, physician, or any other entity, organization, or individual that provides or facilitates the provisions of a procedure or treatment to a child that is prohibited under Section 161.702. Section 161.705 prohibits state health plan reimbursement. The Commission may not provide medical reimbursement. The Commission may not provide Medicaid reimbursement, and the Child Health Care Plan program established by Chapter 62 may not provide reimbursement to a physician or a healthcare provider for provisions of a procedure or treatment to a child that is prohibited under Section 161.702. Just so y'all know, my throat is killing me, my face is hurting. We're almost done. Section 161.706. Attorney General enforcement. If the Attorney General has the reason to believe that a person is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a violation of Section 161.702, the Attorney General may bring an act. By the way, our Attorney General of Texas is a drunk who just got pulled over for DWI. So their input doesn't count. They are not even a responsible adult. How dare you make laws and then get pulled over and then want like grace because you were drunk? Bitch, your ass deserves to sit in prison just like everybody else that you wanted in there. So if you drink and drive, your ass deserves to go to prison. And I think you should get an ankle monitor and one of those breathalyzer things in your car with the face monitor so it sees you at all times. Just so you know, Mr. Attorney General. Yeah, I told you, I'm frustrated. All right. So the Attorney General, who should not be the Attorney General, may enforce action to the subchapter to restrain or enjoin the person from committing, continuing to commit, or repeating the violation. B. The venue for an action brought under this section is a district court of Travis County or the county where the violation occurred is about to occur. Section 3, Section 32.024. Human Resources Code is amended by adding subsection PP. Legit, it says PP. To read as follows. PP is the medical assistance program may not provide coverage for the services prohibited by Section 161.702 Health and Safety Code. They are intended to transition children's biological sex as determined by the child's sex organs, chromosomes, and or indigenous profile. Section 4, Section 164.052A. Occupations Code is amended to read as follows. A physician or an application for a license to practice medicine commits a let me start that over. A physician or an applicant for a license to practice medicine commits a prohibited practice if that person, subsection 1, submits to the board a false misreading statement, document, or certification and an application for a license. Number 2, presents to the board license, certification, or diploma that was illegally or fraudulently obtained. Number 3, commits fraud or deception in taking or passing an examination. 4, uses alcohol or drugs in an I don't even understand why this is in here. Uses alcohol or drugs in an in temperature manner that, in the board's opinion, could endanger a patient's life. Number 5, commits unprofessional or dishonorable conduct that is likely to deceive or defraud the public as provided by section 164.53 or injure the public. 6, uses an advertisement statement that is false, misleading, or deceptive. 7, advertises professional superiority to the performances of the professional services in a superior manner if that advertising is not readily subject to verification. What does this have to do with children? Number 8, purchases, sells, barters, or uses or offers to purchase, sell, barter, or use a medical degree, license, certificate, or diploma or transcript of the license, certificate, or diploma in or incandescent to an application to the board for a license to practice medicine. Number 9, alters with fraudulent intent medical license, certificate, of diploma, or a transcript of a medical license, certificate, or a diploma. Number 10, I'm still trying to understand how are we saving children with this verbiage here? Number 10, uses a medical license, certificate, or diploma, or a transcript or medical license, certificate, or diploma that has been A, fraudulently purchased or issued, B, counterfeit, or C, materially altered. Number 11, impersonates or acts as a proxy for another person in the examination required by the subtitle for a medical license. 12, engages in the contact that subverts or attempts to subvert an examination process required by the subtitle for a medical license. Number 13, impersonates a physician or permits another to use the person's license or certificate to practice medicine in this state. Number 14, none of this has to do with children, by the way, none of this. Number 14, directly or indirectly employs a person whose license to practice medicine has been suspended, canceled, or revoked. Number 15, associates in the practice of medicine with a person, subsection A, whose license to practice medicine has been suspended, canceled, or revoked. Subsection B, who has been convicted of the unlawful practice of medicine in this state or elsewhere. Section 16, performs or procures. You know what? I don't care. Where was that? Performs a procedure. Wait. I missed something. Associates in the practice of medicine, a person who is licensed, blah, blah, blah. 16, performs the procedure of criminal abortion. Yeah. I just want to point out, how is this helping the children? Remember, just so y'all are aware, this is Senate Bill 14 that's supposed to be talking about trans healthcare, and we're now into abortion. It says, performs, that's, I hope others feel the same way I am feeling. Performs the procedure of criminal abortion, aids or abets in the procuring of a criminal abortion, attempts to perform or procure a criminal abortion, or attempts to aid or abet the performance of procurement of a criminal abortion. Number 17, directly or indirectly aids or evades the practice of medicine by a person, partnership, association, or corporation that is not licensed to practice medicine by the board. 18, performs an abortion on a woman who is pregnant with a viable unborn child during the third trimester of the pregnancy, unless the abortion is necessary to prevent the death of the woman. I like how that's the only clause. The viable unborn child has a severe, irreversible brain impairment, or the woman is diagnosed with a significant likelihood of suffering imminent, severe, irreversible brain damage or imminent, severe, irreversible paralysis. So basically, women have lost their fucking rights. There we go with that. Number 19, performs an abortion on an unemancipated minor without the written consent of a child's parent, managing conservatory or legal guardian, or without a court order, as abortion is necessary due to medical emergency as defined by section 171.002 Health and Safety Code. Number 20, otherwise performs an abortion. Again, this has nothing to do with being trans. Nothing. Okay, where are we at? Performs an abortion on a woman who's pregnant. Okay, write that. 19, performs an abortion on an unemancipated. Okay, we write that. All right, 20. Otherwise performs an abortion on an unemancipated minor in a violation of Chapter 33, Family Code. 21, perform or induces or attempts to perform and induce of an abortion in violation of Subchapter C, F, or G, Chapter 171, Health and Safety Code. 22, in complying with this procedural outline in Section 166.045 and Section, thank you, Lord, have mercy, my brain. Let me try this again. In complying with the procedure outlined in sections 166.04 and 166.046 Health and Safety Code, willfully fails to maintain a reasonable effort to transfer a patient to a physician who is willing to comply with the directive. Now they crossed out the word or, so there's no longer a or. It's number 23. Performs or delegates to another individual the performance of a pelvic examination on an anesthetized or unconscious patient in violation of Section 167A.002 Health and Safety Code, or 24, performs a gender transitioning or gender reassignment procedure or treatment in violation of Section 161.702 Health and Safety Code. Sections 5, Subchapter B, Chapter 164. Occupations Code is amended by adding Section 164.005 to read as follows. Transitioning or gender reassignment procedures and treatments on certain children. A, the board shall revoke the license or other authorizations to practice medicine or physical. Authorization to practice medicine of a physician who violates Section 161.702 Health and Safety Code. The board shall refuse to admit to examination or refuse to issue a license or renew license to a person who violates the section. Section B. The sanctions provided by subsection A are in addition to any other grounds for revocation of a license or other authorizations to practice medicine, or for the refusal to admit persons to examination under the subtitle, or to issue a license or renew a license to practice medicine under this subtitle. Section 6, Section 164.00, slow down. Section 164.052, Occupation Code, as amended by this Act, and Section 164.0552, Occupations Code, as added by this date of this Act. Conduct that occurs before the effective date of this Act is governed by the law in effect. Thank you, Mosquito. In effect on the date the conduct occurred, and the former law is continued in effect for that purpose. Section 7. If before implementing any provision of this Act, a state agency determines that a waiver or authorization form of federal agency is necessary for implementation of that provision, The agency affected by the provision shall request the waiver or authorization and may delay implementing the provision until the waiver or authorization is granted. Section 8. This act takes effect on December 1st of 2023. Let that soak in. Probably asking yourself, what does that mean? That means for all the parents in the state of Texas who actually love their children unconditionally and are willing to allow their children to be themselves and want to help their children to get the proper medical care they need to be themselves and to live in their authentic selves and be happy instead of wanting to commit suicide or harm themselves or just not exist. Those parents are now having to move and relocate. There are lots of parents in Texas. I met quite a few whose kids, they're not taking hormones. They're not having surgeries. They're not. All they're doing is they change their name. They're using the proper pronouns that fits them. And they're getting validation by the people they love. This bill was intended not to protect children at all. As y'all can tell, this bill had things about abortion in it. It has nothing to do with transitioning at all. There are things in this bill that have zero relevance at all to how they position this bill. Let's protect children. Let's protect children. Sounds like you don't want to protect anybody but the people who are writing these bills. I know it's been a very long video. My voice hurts. My throat hurts. This damn wire throat, it's been stabbing the hell out of me. And my brain really it's tired. Why can't we all just exist on the planet together? Why is it always a debate? Why can't people just let parents parent their children? And I'm not saying every parent's great. I am a product of not having the best parents in the world. But I didn't allow not being loved for who I am to stop me from being who I am. In fact, it made me validate who I am even more. That I knew I loved me more than I loved them. And I wanted to be happy and in my own skin. So as somebody who's been trans their whole life, just never had a way of expressing it because I did get to go to church camp a lot. Immersion therapy. What else? You name it. Welcome to my life. And I say all this because I want y'all to see, like, I survived all of that. And then at 29, I survived the worst hate crime ever committed, and somebody survived it. And I know I don't talk about that a lot because it's fucking traumatic. You'll never get to know what it's like to be me. To have people telling you while they're trying to take your life, horrible things that they're doing this to you because of who you are. Think about that. And I know people deal with that a lot, especially, people with darker melanin. Different shades. We're all different shades. There's a lot going on in the world, and it's just become a very ugly place. And Texas is making it very, very clear right now where they stand. And I was born here. I was born here. It doesn't matter, like, if you're born here, it don't matter. They don't care. And it makes you question, like, what is the point in existing? Life should not be this hard. With all the people who make millions of dollars and billions of dollars, all of that, we could end hunger throughout the entire planet. Everybody could have fresh water. We could be using vehicles that use air. We could be, stopping human trafficking, stopping sex labor, sex trafficking, human trafficking, child labor. And instead, where the state is focused on taking a specific group of people and taking all their rights away and making them illegal. And Texas isn't the only one. Tennessee, Florida, we can go on, but we're not going to. So I made this video to not only explain all these bills, but to tell y'all how I feel. Number one, you want to know how I feel? You're about to hear the real ugly is truth. Number two, if you're letting your children watch this, they might want to walk away. Number three, grab a bowl, smoke one with me if you got it, because I am in my feels today. Real talk, super feels. Okay. I need the pain to go away. I'm at a 10, out of 10, out of 10. So in my feels, the first thing I felt today was distrust. I felt disregarded. I feel like I am less than a human. How else do you say that? I feel, personally, I feel like we are taking gigantic leaps backwards. From women's rights to the entire LGBTQIA plus spectrum to kids. The only people who are not being affected by any of these bills are the people writing them. Most people don't realize that you have a friend who may be closeted. because they're afraid of how you'll react. Maybe you said something in the past that made that friend put a guard up. Maybe you just need some education. Who knows? But right now, what you need is to educate yourself on everything. Sit down, pull up these bills, and read them yourself. And then I want you to sit down after you read them by yourself, and I want you to think about it. And for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you know what I've been through. For those who just started following me, let me recap. 2016, attacked by two men for being trans. I was left for dead. Literally, my entire face, my brain was exposed to the elements. Like I was degloved. Legit, they had to wash my brain. They smashed the back of my head, they crushed in my face, they shattered my face into millions of pieces. They sexually traumatized me, assaulted me, and yes, they did castrate me. I had 6-inch scars on both sides of my genitalia from things that they did to me. I have permanent breakages in my back. I had shattered bones in my ribs. I was stomped on repeatedly. I was strung up by every limb to trees, naked, tied to trees. I was on a blue tarp while two men sexually assaulted me. Not only did they sexually assault me, but I was sodomized with a shotgun. So when people ask me, why is this so important to me? Why am I starting to make a fuss? I was in the intensive, super intensive care unit for 8 days on machines in 2016 in a different state because I went on vacation and I didn't come home. It was hell. It was worse than hell. It was worse than the movie Boys Don't Cry. It was worse than the movie Monsters. It was worse than the movie Hostel. And it happened to me. So when I go to the Capitol, when I speak on things that I really am passionate about, there's a reason. And then, that's just 2016. I'm still going through surgeries from that. I'm still being fixed from a hate crime from then. And then I was even hate crimed in LA by the LAPD deputies in 2020. October 1st to be exact, at 12:20 a.m. And there's been other things, but those, I didn't choose to be trans. I was born that way. I always knew I was a man. There were photos of me even as a child where people would be like, "Who's that little boy?" I've always dressed in boys' clothes. I've always loved to do boy things since it's genderized. I never ever liked the female parts of me. It wasn't something I ever accepted. However, there are two sides because I did have to grow up in a world that hated gay people and lesbians and trans and bisexual. I grew up in a time frame where people would just kill you just for being gay or lesbian, bisexual. Trans wasn't even a thing. I knew I wasn't right. I knew that I loved women, but I was like, yo, I'm not a chick. And everybody I dated knew that. Everybody. The only people who didn't were my family. And that's because it was a sin and it was a shame and I would go to hell and they'd disown me or worse, they'd kill me. So I say all of this so you can see this is real. This impacts me. This affects me more than you'll ever understand. And if you're not trans and you want to be my ally, don't talk about it. Be about it. If you really want to be my ally, you're going to sit next to me in a Senate meeting when I'm fighting for not just my rights, but your rights. You're going to come march with me if I say, let's go fucking march on the Capitol and there's a herd of us. You're not going to care what your job has to say. And I know that right there probably got a lot of people all in their feelings. But if everybody walked out on their job at the same time because we were all in unity, they can't fire everybody. And also, just so everybody's aware, when your employer's like, oh, why are you calling out? Your response is, I'm sick or a personal day. And if they say, well, what's wrong? None of your damn business. That's against HIPAA, OSHA, ADA, all of those. They cannot ask you why you're taking the day off. You say, I'm taking the day off. Peace, bitch. That's what you say. I need a mental motherfucking health day from you. Bye. You don't have to tell your employer why you're leaving. Hello? People don't know that. Y'all sign documents that legit say you do not tell your employer why you're leaving. HIPAA protects you. They can't even ask for a doctor's note. Not in the state of Texas. So the excuse of I can't miss work. So you've used all your PTO days, you've used all your sick days, used all your mental health days. And most people who work at call centers get you get 7 days off, absent anyway or some shit. Like, here's the reality, y'all. If we as a people come together and we stand up and we're like, yo, we're all just going to walk out and that's how it's going to be. If the world stops functioning because of us regular folks, what do you think is going to happen? Change. Instead of everybody being so fucking scared, grow a pair. Yeah, I said it. Grow a pair. Women, grab them ovaries. Men, grab your balls. And all my friends of in between, grab what you got and let's roll. Like, you're terrified of somebody because they're going to fire me. That's nice. Joe Schmo, right down the street, if you really need a job, is going to hire you. Why'd they fire you? I needed a mental health day. Seriously? Especially since mental health is now on the docket for everything, which it should have been fucking from the beginning. I need y'all to really understand. I'm not taking excuses anymore. You wanna support? You wanna stand by me? Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Walk it like you fucking talk it. I'm tired of people really just saying, I support you. I got you. Do you? Do you understand what it means to really support somebody who is different than you? I do. I need y'all to look deep into your moral compass. Does a job own you or do you own you? Does the government own you or do you own you? Too many people are too afraid. And I hate to break it to you. The only way that not just in the LGBTQIA plus community, but even women in general are going to be able to fix things is we are going to have to unite. You're going to have to put your high school bullshit drama aside, whether you like me or not. And we're just going to have to clink on to fucking arms and we're going to have to make it happen. I'm at that point. I'm like, when people are like, I'm fed up. Okay, fed up was here. I'm like, I'm I'm touching the fucking moon right now because I will go to bat for anybody. I will give you the shirt off my fucking back. I don't even have money to give people. But if you need something and you, without asking for money, if you need something, I will help you as much as I can. And all I'm asking, all I've been asking, legit consecutively, is if you support me, you will show up. The masses is what changes. Yes, it takes one person to start a movement, but that movement has to be followed by follow through. It's going to take more than one of us to come together and make shit happen. It doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you drive, what you don't drive, what you eat, what you don't eat. You got teeth, no teeth. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you look like, what you dress like. I'm gonna defend you as long as you're willing to back me. And right now, I'm asking people to really look at themselves, because the reality is we're all on the planet Earth together on this globe that spins. It's a rock in space that spins around another big rock with a whole bunch of other rocks, and gravity's just all holding us in place. And we're all a human species. There's not a gay species and a lesbian species and a trans. No, we're all humans. We forgot that. We've been so okay with being put into boxes and categorized that it has separated us so much that it's allowed the governments to come in and do what they're doing. They knew what they were doing. Every time they start something, they know what they're doing. And they're causing us to all fight each other. Aren't y'all tired? Am I the only person who just wants peace and unity and fucking tranquility? Like, I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one. I know many people who want the same things. At the end of the day, we all want the same things. We all want to be able to live in our homes how we want to be. We want to listen to the music we like. We want to watch TV if we want to watch TV. We want to be on social media if we want. We want to do whatever the fuck we want to do without having to hurt somebody else. We just want to exist. That's essentially it. We just want to exist, just like you exist. I've never in my life thought I would be saying any of this ever. I never in my life thought that I would have to even have a conversation like this. We're in 2023 and things are regressing. Things are regressing to the 1900s, as the younger folk call it. Things are regressing fast. And although technology has helped us so much, it is hindering us as a human species to evolve. To evolve, we have to be able to put the past in the past and move forward. And with these current laws and things being put into place, we're going backwards. And it's so frustrating. It's heartbreaking. It's like the world's dumbest anomaly. And what's worse is there's no other place we can go. There's no other planet we can go to. Where are we going to go? There's not an island for us. There isn't a continent for us. We are everywhere on the entire planet. We're in every single country, every continent. There are trans, gay, lesbian, bi, queer, intersex, asexual, demisexual, motherfucking mosquito. All the sexuals. Every fucking playing field has them. Everywhere. It's not just in America. It's everywhere. I just want to exist. I want to exist without people trying to take my life, my livelihood. I know there's been a lot said on this video, and I appreciate everybody who's watched. And I hope you can understand why I am so passionate about this. I want to just exist. But I don't want to just exist. I want to be able to live. Every human should be able to live freely, openly, however they want to be, as long as they're not hurting somebody else. We live in a world where that's not even okay. You gotta find it in you to be present. You gotta find it in you to see the bigger picture. And if not now, when? When? What is it going to take for people to help and support and come and sit and just sit with us? Yeah, it's boring to sit in a Senate meeting all day. Do you think I wanted to spend my day there? No, I had other things to do. But that was more important. Knowing the outcome of those bills and how it's going to impact my life. Not just my life, those around me, people that I know. Like, there's a lot. You know, a lot of people are like, well, it's not affecting me. No, but it's affecting me. And that is what I'm trying to point out. You think it doesn't affect you, but it affects me. And if you care about me and you love me, or you want to be an ally and a friend, then you would put up or you would shut the fuck up. So, to recap, there were 3 bills that were passed today. These 3 bills were aimed at protecting children. Instead, these bills were aimed at medical physicians trying to help their patients, mothers having abortions, their right, their choice, anybody dressing in the opposing sex's outfits, which really gender is not a material. Like gender and clothing, and libraries. If you go to read a book and want to dress up as a character in a book, better be careful, because otherwise you're going to lose that library's funding and you go to jail. All of this to protect the children, right? While we have children shooting up schools, we have children hazing children, we have children having sex and having babies. We have television showing children sex all day long. We have Disney movies showing children provocative and sexual things and having innuendos. Let's see. Ooh, we even have, like Nick Jr. that has shows that have things in there that I wouldn't want a child to watch, but they're there. So I say that with the conclusion so y'all can see the full scope. Like, you're coming after people instead of, if you don't want kids to see it, turn it off. Don't take them. Like, you're saying it's for the kids, but I don't see any protection for children at all. You're harming children. Children do kill themselves because they can't get the help they need. You're going to cause people to move out of the state. You're going to lose revenue. You're going to have businesses shutting down because they lose their entertainment. You're going to have businesses that are shut down because they're getting too many penalties. So yeah, you're doing a great job of fucking up the Republic of Texas. Good job. So, yeah, it's an interesting clusterfuck here. It's very apparent that the people writing these bills either A, are not parents, or B, they are the wrong type of parents. Because if I was a parent and I wrote a bill to not allow another parent to be able to make their own parental decisions, I would be like, you know what, maybe this isn't right. So I'm just saying that so you can see the perspectives. Because everybody's like, oh, they keep talking about protecting kids. They're not protecting any children. Help. Help me understand how that's protecting children. You're a grown-ass adult with a kid. Protect your own kid. If you don't want your kid to see something, don't take them there. It's pretty simple. If you feel like your child is doing something to endanger themselves, get them help. Like, as a parent, you should be a loving, unconditionally loving, and open arm to your child, not a closed off, arrogant, ignorant, self centered, self sabotaging human. That's how your kids learn to hate you. That's when your kids distance themselves. They're like, you stay over there, and I'm going to be over fucking here. For those parents out there, and this includes my biological parents as well as adopted parents, oh yeah. For those parents out there who are like, as done with me, this is why we don't communicate with you. Why should we if you can't accept us for us and love us for us? We love you even though you fucked up royally. We love you even though you've shunned us away. We love you even though you can't stand us. We love you because we are a part of you. That part. We're all connected. All of us. And instead of allowing the hate to win, it's time we turn that shit upside down and let the light in. So let your light shine. And sometimes it's not going to be as fancy as you think it's going to be. Heads up. Prime example. But let that bitch shine. You're going to have hiccups, but let that bitch shine. We're going to have to kill them with kindness. We're going to have to kill them with love. And we're going to have to actually unite. Everybody needs to come together. That's it. That's it. You want unity? It's an all or nothing type of deal. I stand with you. I'm asking you to stand. My name is Christopher motherfucking McCoy, Superman. I love you all. Yes, it's been a very long 2 hours, and it'll be 30 minutes by the time I finish speaking. But we went over 3 pills, the effects they have on me, how it's fucking with my mind and shit, and what it's going to do for the world. I want to thank you all so much for sitting and chatting with me. My wire is really digging into my skin. I know y'all can see that. My face hurts, my hip hurts. I would like to go take a shower because I came and talked to y'all right after I biked home. So there's that. I love y'all. Remember that even though this was a very deep conversation, and I know I hit a lot of hard topics, I know that I touched on a lot of things that make people scream and go, ooh, or that was a one of those situations. But I'm saying all of this to let y'all know I see everybody. I am watching you. The world is watching you. Just like you see me and the world is watching me. I am your ally. I am not your enemy. I stand with every single one of you. Even if you fucked up in life, even if you've made errors and mistakes, it's okay. We're fucking human. I'm your ally. I am not here to rub the trans on anybody. I am here to just be myself and bring people to motherfucking happiness. Because there's not enough in the world. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, kindness will win. It's just going to take some time. So please remember to be kind, not just to yourself, but to people around you, especially those who hate us. Remember, every single one of you, including myself, are beautiful, you're blessed, you're breaking down barriers, boundary supporters. Please have hope, faith, and love during these times because they are excruciatingly painful and tough. Know that you are a boss, my friend, but every single one of you, including myself, is a motherfucking beast. And if you don't know by now, beasts don't fucking break. No, they don't. My name's Christopher motherfucking McCoy, Superman, also the Lead King. I love you all so much. Please have a great evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and please stand in unity.